Hey guys, welcome to another stream, and I'm joined again by one of my best friends, Grande, John Grande from Grande's Graveyard. What's up, man?
Ooh, yeah. What's up, good brother Nate, the horror boy, my good brother? We're going to be talking all things Lighthouse, The Witch, and whatnot today. I'm pretty freaking stoked. Thanks for having me on, good brother.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on. It's always a honor to have you on, dude. You're an awesome person.
As are
Um,
you.
thanks, bro. um, to get started, though, I mean, I guess you could just say, like, what have we been up to lately? I know we kind of talked before the stream about. Oh, we got Bob here. Bob the Raptor. What's up, Bob? How you doing, bro? But what you been up to, bro? You been having any plans this week or anything?
Well, this week I'm wondering if the country's going to reopen or where I'm at's going to reopen because they keep mentioning it. So it's possible. So there's that. I mean, I don't know right now, but until I get word, I get word. So I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air. But until then, I've been watching movies. Today I watched Shakma, Killer Baboon film. Had a blast with that movie, man. I really, really enjoyed Shakma. I've got The Woman, the Arrow Blu-ray special edition of The Woman. I'm definitely gonna be giving this a watch sometime soon. And I've just been jumping around watching stuff. Watched a movie called Tamra. I've been watching just a bunch of horror flicks, man. My queue of horror flicks just is a never-ending fucking cycle, man. But you
That's
know,
how my yeah, that's how I am too.
yeah, I've been good otherwise though. Just been chilling like a villain, man. I've also been watching the Creep Show series. They're airing it on AMC now.
Oh, really?
The Shudder Creep Show series. Yeah, they've been showing that every night, and I've been really enjoying those. Last week's episode was my favorite, so I'll be watching that tonight at 10, the fourth episode. I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
Yeah, and like that. But how about you, man? How have you been?
Oh man, working hard, doing a lot. Today I actually was able to kind of walk around outside. Took a walk down this path and kind of went for a little, not really for a jog. I'm too fat to jog, but I was just kind of taking a little nature walk. Just kind of getting out there, getting out of the house. It was pretty good. Um, as far as movies go, man, I've seen The Lighthouse, which we'll be talking about on here. I also have a review I did, which I'll be posting right after this, guys. So this will be kind of our both discussion on it, and then me solo will be kind of after this, a little bit later on tonight, which was cool because I was able to use a program and I got it in black and white. I did some glitches and some effects, so hopefully it looks pretty cool. But as far as movies go, man, I mean, seen Lighthouse. I watched Empire Strikes Back last night, and it was really fun revisiting that one. Today I'm watching Alien, and then I'll probably watch Aliens. I think I'll skip Alien 3 and 4.
Don't blame me.
I picked up some movies. Yeah, right. I picked up some movies, man, and yeah, it's been kind of like that, just chilling, willing and dealing, bro. JG, what's up, man? Is that the real JG? Imposter JG? I don't know. I hope it's really you, JG. There's a lot of people calling themselves JG.
Yeah, I would love to. Why don't you show up what you picked up, good brother? I would love to see.
Yeah,
I know you showed me some of it in the chat, but I know the people would want to see. I picked up this double feature too. In the meantime, I picked this bad boy up. The House that
actually,
Vanished
Walmart.
and the Eerie Midnight Horror Show. I got that bad boy.
I seen that. That's cool. I seen that
It's
when
out
you
of print,
posted.
so it's not easy to find. But I wanted it at an auction, so
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And it's in Blu-ray too.
yeah, it looks good. The transfer's pretty good. I watched The Sexorcist. It looks pretty good in HD.
It's pretty crazy. The Sexorcist has an HD Blu-ray.
Yo, that's what I said when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, The Sexorcist on blue? Cha-ching, you know.
I need to know where you find these movies, man, because these are some of the most awesome movies.
I jump around, man. I certainly jump around. Like a lot of people, like they'll love the genre and they'll just be like, "Where the fuck did you come up with that one?" Like people were asking me today, like, "What is Shakma?" I was like, "Oh, Killer Baboon film," and they were like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Exactly. You're missing out. Amanda Weiss, my man Peter Vincent is in it. Of course, Roddy McDowell. I mean, I really liked Shakma a lot. It was a fun little creature feature."
That's cool, man. Yeah, I've always heard about it. I think I seen a trailer for it a while ago. It looks really good. That's awesome, bro. I'm glad you're watching movies, getting through the quarantine, bro, like we all are, man. It's just one of those things, man. Just trying our best.
Bro, exactly. It's just it's been It's been a crazy time, but I mean, at least we have movies, at least we have each other, at least we have streams, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, you know?
Can you imagine if we were in the 80s right now and this happened? Oh,
Oh my God. People, I don't think this would have worked in the 80s. I think people would have just been like, fuck this. Like, I'm going out.
yeah.
Like,
You could listen to records, sit in a room and listen to a record.
if you can read a book, you know,
Read a book.
ancient mythology.
I'm going to study some Greek.
Yeah. I'm gonna learn Mandarin Chinese in the meantime. It's funny. Like I've been going on walks too, though. Like you said, like I went to my preserve, which is about a mile from my house. I walked there, and then I walked 2 miles in, and then it's about 3 miles total there, and then 3 miles back. So like 6 mile walk. So it's nice, man. It clears my head, and it's a good time, man. I just listen to some music. I throw on the old beats. I got some fresh beats. Always love listening to these. And the battery on these just like never dies. Like you can literally charge it for 10 minutes and it will stay alive for like weeks. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard they got amazing battery power. These are just some good old non-beats. Look at that, no beats. I'm joking. I
have shitty ones like that too somewhere. I know I do.
Well, I tried to go to Walmart to get some, but like they're out of everything almost. So it's pretty dry at Walmart starting to get. They got to restock some stuff.
I'm sure it's dry everywhere. I haven't been to a Walmart or a Best Buy or any one of those places in forever, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely getting intense out there, but I think they have the one thing I noticed today was, I don't know if they just started doing this or not, but they are dropping prices on movies like crazy. Like all of these movies were under $10.
Wow. So, show what you got, my man.
Alrighty. Well, I got these really cool, like I think you guys have seen them before at Walmart. These really cool, like weird reverse slip cover type stuff. But I got Gremlins. Never seen Gremlins, so I'm excited to check it out.
That's fire.
Yeah. I just don't know why I never watched Gremlins, though. It's kind of an essential movie, but I guess the first time for everything. Got this one. Also never seen before.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. It won how many? 5? 3? I can't remember how many it won. It won a lot of Oscars, though.
I think it swept the Oscars. I think it won like the top 5 biggest Oscars, like Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Picture, Best Screenplay. I think it won all 5.
5 Academy. Wow.
I think that movie, Silence of the Lambs, and like one more movie. I think It Happened One Night. Those are the only 3 movies to sweep the Oscars like that.
How'd The Exorcist do? I know that one won an Oscar, too.
I think The Exorcist was nominated for 2 Oscars, or it won 2 Oscars. It was one or the other. But it's like the last horror film, other than maybe Carrie, to get that recognition.
Which is a shame. I wish more horror films would get. That's the sad thing about horror, is like they usually go like, "Oh, it's just a horror movie. No need for it to get awards." I'm like, what?
The Lighthouse actually was nominated for Best Cinematography at the Oscars, which was, I thought, really cool to hear.
Nice. I think it deserves it. Totally deserves it.
Could have won.
First Gremlins is so good at masking the fact that it's a horror movie. Yeah, actually, I heard it was supposed to be a really hard rated R gore fest, but it got toned down because Spielberg and everything wanted to be more for kids.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that like invented the PG-13 rating. It's like one of the first ever PG-13 films, if not the first.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of those creature features. Like, I haven't seen that, Munchies, Critters, Ghoulies, Screamers, Watchers. Never seen any of those movies.
Totally skip Ghoulies. Ghoulies is a piece of shit. Ghoulies 2 is great, but Ghoulies 1 is a piece of shit.
Yeah, man. I just never really got interested in those ones, like, for some reason. Again, I've seen Troll 2. I love Troll 2, but
we all love Troll 2.
I can't say it's a good movie, but Troll 2 is one of the best bad movies I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Fucking love Troll 2.
Same here, man.
Got this masterpiece. I love this one a lot.
Get out!
I can't wait to see it on Blu-ray. I haven't seen it on Blu-ray yet.
That one was under $10 too?
Yeah, this was, I think, $9, maybe $8.
Can't beat it.
This was like $5, so I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
I know Rambo loves that one. I didn't see it though. I love John Cho.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll be honest though, when I first seen the trailer for this, I was like, really? The guy from all the Harold and Kumar movies is going to be in the film?
How the
But
Kumar looked for their daughters.
that's great. But yeah, man, it's just got all these critics loving it, so I guess I'll check it out one day.
Yeah, let me know what you think of that one. I'd be curious to hear.
Oh, for sure, bro, for sure. Thanks for watching the videos, by the way, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, dude, anytime. I love your videos. I miss your videos. I can't wait for your review of the Lighthouse, and I'm on before it.
Yeah, man, it's just kind of like just like a double feature, you know, us both and the solo review, kind of celebrating the Lighthouse. I think it deserves it, man. I mean, we'll get into more details, but I'm glad that we're discussing both films because I think they're examples of how horror should kind of go, like the direction it should go and more into where it's at now, you know.
I agree with you, man. I can't wait to get into it.
Never got the hate for this movie. This is one of my favorite Spielberg movies. I love this movie.
Me too.
And it's 2 discs, so awesome.
Love the Shining scene in it.
Speaking
Oh
of
my God!
Speaking
Wow.
of The Shining, finally upgraded my DVD to a Blu-ray, so I'll see how that looks.
I have the same Blu-ray. I don't have the slipcover though. That slipcover is pretty fire.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. Out of all the slipcovers on these, this is probably the one that I think looks the best.
What other slipcovers do they have? I haven't seen.
This one, this is the slipcover for this.
Oh! I thought you meant like other Shining slipcovers.
There is one other one. It's like a silhouette of Jack walking through the snow, and instead of seeing Jack, you just see like the inside of the silhouette is events from the movie. So it's like him with an axe walking through the snow. But I like
the 4K slipcover, I think.
Yeah, that's the 4K.
Okay.
Which I don't have that. I wonder how it would look in 4K. Oh my goodness.
I don't have a 4K player, TV, or anything, so I'm sticking with Blue. I have over 100 fucking Blu-rays, so I can't really. I'm good on 4K right now. Like maybe one day, but right now during a quarantine, especially, Blue is my way to go.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Which is weird because I've watched 4K and I've seen it on a 4K TV. I don't know what it is about older movies on 4K, but they don't really look that much different, to be honest. Like, I've seen some old 4K movies. Like, I think Exorcist, there's a 4K version. I seen it, and it really didn't look much different than the other ones. So.
Yeah, it seems to me like if the movie isn't shot in 4K, it doesn't really look like. My friend was showing me the Rambo 4K, and I didn't even think that looked that great. I thought, like, I have the Blu-ray of it, the first Blu-rays they put out, like that set, the trilogy, and I think those Blu-rays still hold up. And people were telling me, oh, those are old, blah blah blah. You get the 4K. I'm like, like definitely for newer films. Yeah. I think newer films is what 4K works for the best, and I'm not too big of a fan of newer. Hell, you want to really laugh, which I know you haven't seen this bad boy yet, but The Lodge, this is a newer film. They didn't even release this in 4K. This is the only high def version you can get it. So I was like, all right, I'll get the blue, no problem, man. I saw it in the theater, and I thought it looked great, so I'm sure it would have looked great on 4K.
I'll have to check that out, man. You've been giving a lot of great praise, so I'll definitely give that one a watch for sure.
Yeah, for real.
It's just crazy. Like I've never seen the trailers for that movie. Like I didn't even hear about that movie, so it's crazy.
It's the same directors that did Goodnight Mommy, which I really liked that, but I thought this was a step up. Like if like we like Robert Eggers, I like the directors Victoria here. I just fucking grab it. Why the hell not? Veronica Franz and Severin Fiala. I think they're masters of horror too, and I think they're two directors that are taking horror in a good direction as well. But like you said, a lot of people really didn't get into The Lodge, sadly enough, and a lot of people didn't even know it existed. So I mean, it is what it is. In a world where Midsommar and Hereditary get all this praise, I wish The Lodge and Goodnight Mommy could almost take that praise personally.
Yeah, me too, man. It just seems like the more, and we'll get into that when we talk about like The Witch in the Lighthouse especially, but I noticed that the more like mainstream, they'll get 4K, they'll get features like that, and then when it comes to the other ones, it takes like months to get a decent Blu-ray, you know.
Yeah, and this edition I have, the Blu-ray The Lodge, doesn't have one feature on it. It's just the movie and the trailer. That's it. That's all.
Oh
It's a
wow.
bare bones Blu-ray, which is fucking crazy. But again, the movie really didn't do that much, and people that saw it didn't really care to really go, put it over. But I put it over. I thought it was fantastic. But again, I'm kind of in the minority, sadly. I know Aiden liked it, our good buddy from Facebook, but no one else really.
Yeah, I definitely put that. As I made like a little list of movies I want to see that I didn't really hear it before. And when you said The Battery and The Lodge, they stuck with me, and I was like, yeah, I'll check those out. Spider Baby, I'll check that one out, one day.
All quality films, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. I heard somewhere, like maybe it already happened, but I heard somewhere that Gallows is getting a special edition, like a
Really?
special edition 2 disc. I was like, the Gallows?
Did the Gallows Part 2 finally come out on Blu-ray? Like, I know it went straight to
Yep,
VOD.
yep. I seen it the other day. I think in a Walmart, not one that's close to here, but like a really far Walmart. It seemed like the whole shelf was just full. Not whole shelf, but like the horror area was almost all gone, and the only like movies that were over there were like the really low budget generic movies, and there was just like 1,000 copies of The Gallows Part 2.
The Last Man Standing.
Yeah, I was like,
funny,
well,
man.
obviously that one's a bestseller.
Yeah. Yo, I wish you took a picture of that. I would have been so righteous.
Oh
Like
my god,
all
dude.
these shitty movies that are gone, and it's like dead center, The Gallows Part 2, Act 2, which
Yeah.
I actually have heard is better than the first one, but I hated the first one, so I don't know if that means anything. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't have much of a stone to step on,
yeah, yeah.
It'd be a very easy thing to accomplish right there, but I heard
Said it.
Ouija 2 was better than the first. I hated the first Ouija, so
The first Ouija is like
I-
classic bad Blumhouse, and then the second Ouija is like a prequel, so it kind of worked. And it was directed by Mike Flanagan, who I think is a really good filmmaker too. But yeah, definitely the second Ouija's better. I think you'd like it.
yeah, I heard it got way more better reviews than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we could get into Robert Eggers, a director that I thought from the first time I had seen his first film. I guess we can just jump right into The Witch real quick.
Let's do it.
And I got it right over here because it's hard as hell to find on Blu-ray, so I have to get a DVD. So unfortunately, I would get a Blu-ray, but I can't find it anymore. So I don't know why. I would much rather have a Blu-ray, but I guess
I didn't know that one was so hard to find on Blue. Is it out of print on Blue?
I don't think it's out of print. It's just like they only keep stocks of the DVDs. Like I went to 4 different DVD stores. They had the movie, but they only had DVDs. And I was like, you don't have a Blu-ray? Like, no, we don't order the Blu-rays. I'm like, really?
Damn.
And it's still pretty pricey, bro. This is like $15 for this DVD. It was pretty pricey. I was like, that's a little much for a DVD,
No, damn right. That stinks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Nah, man, it's all right. I mean, I just got to pick it up. I mean, either way is great. Great pickup. I don't know if it has any features though. Yeah, it has a commentary, little making of, so it has a decent little amount of features, and it does look pretty decent. I mean, for what it is. But I don't know about you, but for The Witch, I heard nothing about this movie. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't see any posters, any teasers, nothing. And I remember we was going to go to the movies and we wanted to just watch a scary movie. We didn't know it was going to watch. We just was, hey, let's go to the movie theater. We want to watch a scary movie. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I love scary movies. So we went there and they're like, hey, what about The Witch? I'm like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either. So we went in completely blind and it blew me away. Seeing it in the theater was definitely an experience. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and we could possibly get into that in a minute, but I thought it was my kind of horror. As you guys know, my favorite kind of horror is the psychological stuff. I love the mind, the movies that mess with your mind. Those are the ones that actually creep me out. They actually unsettle me because to me, it's much more scary to have psychological stuff breaking down the psyche than to have zombies, sharks. Even though I love all that stuff, it's just like it doesn't really scare me. It's just more of entertaining to me. But for this case, I actually got a bit creeped out while watching this film, and Um, I'm curious on when you first seen the movie and what your first impressions of the film were. So,
Well, it's funny. My uncle, who is a casual horror fan, not diehard, but he definitely likes horror movies and action movies, mixed martial arts movies. Like, he's got me into a lot of the movies I love, especially the mixed martial arts stuff. And he came back from the movies after seeing it. I had not seen a trailer or any hype or anything about it either. And he said, "Man, I just saw this movie." And I was like, "What's up?" I said, "What's it called?" He goes, "It's called The Witch." And I just adored this film. I loved everything about it. I thought it was really, really cool flick. So I was like, okay, man, I trust your opinion. Let me go see it. He also did mention that he felt it was kind of like The Shining in the way that
hmm
the tone and feel and atmosphere of it. And I was like, wow, like that's very high praise. So I went to go see this packed ass theater, sold out in like one of the AMC theaters, which, may or may not exist after that. Oh man, first horror movie, Freddy versus Jason. Yeah, you're younger than even we are, which is crazy because we're pretty young. Um, but I saw it sold out theater, and man, I gotta say, same as you, I was absolutely blown away by it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it did genuine scares. It had a genuine atmosphere. I thought the acting was really good from the lead Anya Taylor Joy, and I forget the actor who plays the father, but I thought he did a great job. I thought he was really, really good. And everybody in the cast does a really fantastic job. And it's a really dark looking film. I love the scenes where the son is going out to find food for the family and he runs into that beautiful woman. That felt very Shining to me. It felt very Jack Nicholson in the bathroom, making out with that old lady, who at first did not appear that way. I thought that was excellently done. I thought the twist at the end was brilliant. And one thing I will say about it that I think sets it apart was the final image of Anya Taylor Joy kind of descending into the sky with the other witches as the film ended. I'll never forget someone in the theater shouted, "Well, that sucked." And I kind of just drove home with my friends, and I couldn't get that image out of my mind. It was ingrained in my mind at how powerful that visual was. And I truly to myself was like, I just saw a great horror film. And I'm excited to see whatever this guy does next. And I really, really, really do enjoy The Witch. I think it's a fantastic horror film. One of my favorite horror films of the last 10 years for sure. Yeah, one I really put over, man. I don't know if Nate muted himself, and I don't know if Nate's still in the room. Nate may have been interrupted for all we know. But what do y'all think of The Witch? Do tell me what you guys think because I would love to hear what y'all think.
sorry about that.
That's okay. I threw it
That's
back
yeah,
to you,
definitely
my friend.
Um, about the movie.
Yes, sir. I just said that I felt it was just a brilliant movie overall, one of my favorite horror films the last 10 years, basically what I
Oh yeah.
closed in saying.
Oh yeah, man. Easily. It was right up my alley, and it's funny that I swear, bro. There's some kind of horror psychic connection there because the same thing kind of happened with me when I was watching the movie. Towards the end, when the witches rose and the movie ended, a lot of people booed. They didn't like that ending. They was just like they were like, "What? That's how it fucking ended." I'm like, "Whoa." They were really mad. But I think it's because, and I can kind of understand, the ending as an image, I thought was great. But I think what the problem was is kind of like Inside, where you want to see this character rise. And I understand that not every horror movie can have a rise in a character, but I felt like with this movie in particular, you kind of wanted to see her do something to try to stop whatever this is. And she really didn't get that moment. I mean, the only moment she really got was when she killed her mother, and it was really more of a sad moment than a more of a redemption moment. Maybe that's what it is. It doesn't bother me. I wouldn't say the ending absolutely sucked. I just thought it's a cool image. It was definitely something that you'll remember. But I kind of was like left there, and I was like, I mean, they could have done a little bit more. It's like the ending of the Blair Witch Project. I can respect it for what it is because it was the first one to do something like that, and it's more haunting that way because you don't know what happened. But always in the back of my mind, or back of my heart and mind, I'm thinking like, man, can you imagine if just we got to see just something? We got to see a little peek at something. Maybe that's just the enjoyment about that as part of the film. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with it. It's just either I respect it because of how it ends. It's up to your interpretation. What happened? It's up to your, whatever the ending is. It's up to you. Did she join them? Is it real? Is it not? I love that, and it's a good image. It's definitely filmed very well, and it's memorable. But the ending is probably the only problem, to be honest, with that movie. And I guess I could say this too. It feels like The Witch was a little bit more slower than The Lighthouse, which is funny because I think The Lighthouse is actually a longer movie than The Witch. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's more, I don't know, I guess maybe it's just the era and it's not as interesting of a setting. That's why it feels a little bit slower. But it's funny, like with The Witch, I think the best part of it is the ending. I love the ending with Black Phillip in the barn, and I thought that was creepy as fuck, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God. And then that final image, I remember so many people were pissed, and I was just like, kind of think that was awesome. Similar, the exact same thing happened with The Lodge. At the theater I was in, people were booing openly at the ending of that film, and I fucking wanted to get up and cheer. I thought it was a genius way to finish a film, but I don't know. Maybe it's just certain people are looking for different things. They're looking for more of a bang as opposed to a shock, or opposed to a kind of more flat but emphatic statement. But I don't know, man. I think both the endings were, especially for this film, I love the ending. That's something I just always remember, and it's really the lasting image I have of this movie. It's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely didn't hate it. I mean, I wasn't really booing it all. Actually, I stood up and I did clap. I just, say, hey, that was a good movie. And then people were like, what? You like that indie? I'm like, well, it was a good movie. And I was like, kind of put in the spot there for a second. I'll tell you what, though, man. I'll tell you what. That was like one of those cases where I was like, man, the movie was great. I wish people would have gotten into it a little bit more because it did get fans. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's weird because it's like Hereditary. When it first came out, it got this massive love, this wave of praise, and then like after the first 6 months, it became that movie where everybody started saying, "Oh, that's just a boring, slow movie. I just had nothing going on," and it just surprised me because I rewatched it. I'm like, "Well, did I miss something? Let me rewatch it again." And to me, it still holds up. I still, like you said, I love the imagery in the movie. I love the time period. I think it's a well shot movie. Like the cinematography should have won an award. Like I think Lighthouse did, which is awesome, but The Witch I thought also looked very cool as far as the atmosphere goes. And I just thought like the acting and the situations. I mean, I can go over it all, but I just think as a whole, as a film, it's very well made. And maybe it's because as I asked people, I'm like, well, I'm curious, why don't you like this movie? They said that, well, it's slow, it's boring, it doesn't have any jump scares, doesn't have any monsters. You don't really see a witch that much. You don't really see. I'm thinking it's like one of those things where it has to be a cup of tea because, yes, it's slow, yes, much, and yes, a lot of it is metaphors. A lot of it is metaphoric. And the dialogue is something that you got to really pay attention to. Because if you can't just listen to this movie and listen to the dialogue and be like, oh yeah, I know that's what they're saying. They're actually using real Victorian era language. So it's like, I love that part too. I love the Victorian era. I think it's a really interesting, great setting for a film, especially for a horror film. I think the Victorian era, creepy old mansions with ghosts and candles and all that. I love all that stuff. So I wish they would do more of the old school Victorian era type stuff. 1800s, early 1900s type horror films. Unfortunately, they do try to do it nowadays, but it's like The Woman in Black, Crimson Peak, Those are really rocky movies for me, and I thought this one probably did the best so far.
I'd agree with that completely, man. It's there's something about it. It has a charm to it. It's really well directed. I think Robert Eggers is the future of horror movies. I really
Mm.
do. Like I know a lot of people put Mike Flanagan over, and I think what he does is really good. But I think what sets Eggers apart is these are two completely original movies. These aren't remakes, sequels. These are two new flavors, and I think they're fantastic.
Totally agree with that, bro. Totally agree with both you guys. That's why I don't want to figure out who was. Yeah, I agree with both of you guys, man. I think that would be very cool, and I'm up for seeing that stuff, man. I really am. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, I'd love to see Robert Eggers make anything else. I mean, yeah, he wants to make the Viking movie. I mean, that would be so freaking cool. I mean, any after Lighthouse, I'd be for anything the guy wants to make because he really gets it. He understands horror. He understands where and what he wants to do with things, and that's why I really like him. I think he always throws new ideas on the table. He's 2 films in, and I'd call him a master. Like I think he's that damn good.
Sorry about that. Dinner's done apparently, so I'll probably go and get some grub after the stream. But yeah, I totally agree, man. I think he's really genius at what he does because he's created his own style. At the same time, also, you just get so many different vibes from this movie, and I think maybe that's what it is. I mean, you got to have a really long attention span for these movies. You know, they're not action every 20 minutes, and it's more my kind of horror movie. Like,
Me
okay,
too.
I can sit down and I can watch, you know, Evil Dead 2013 and have fun with the gore and stuff. But if I'll be honest, which is a lot better of a horror film than Evil Dead 2013. But
Agree.
I just it's more up my alley. This is stuff that I really like, the psychological and actually it's weird because there's this thing going on with people not liking these movies because they're too artsy, they're too long, they're too psychological, they're too metaphoric. And I'm all for these kind of movies. What I can't stand is these generic PG-13 ghost movies that are all the same. Like at least these movies, they feel different enough, you know?
I agree completely, man. Like I don't understand. Like, do you think it's a case where there's some horror fans that they can't switch gears? Like I know a lot of horror fans that they can just watch something and go, "That was fun. I had fun with that." But with a movie like this, and especially a movie like The Lighthouse, I feel like there are a lot of people who are just like, "I got 20 minutes in, I turned it off." Like, where is the disconnect there? Why can't they shift gears and be like, "Oh, this is creepy. This is slow burn. I'm going to get into this. This is going to play with my mind a little bit." Why do you think there are some people that don't like movies like that?
It's just the oversaturation of the other horror films. Like you have so Conjuring going on, you have so much Insidious going on that it's kind of horror fans now expect every horror film to be like that, to be this fast-paced jump scare, action, thrill ride, go 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 kind of pace. And I think when you do something like this, that's the other thing that if your ending doesn't have, I think what most fans would want, then most fans would say it's garbage. Like people that go back and they rewatch the Blair Witch Project, one of the very things that they say is all it is people running around the woods, sticks and stones, will break my bones, and the ending, a camera drops and nothing happens. I'm like, well, I think it's you just got to be able to watch these movies and focus on what they do bring to the table and like what they do achieve and what it's meant to be, not what it's trying to, not what you want it to really be. It's you just got to really appreciate it for what it is. I just like I said, I think it's just The Conjuring and Insidious. They're just a different breed of horror. They're more mainstream, and when they see stuff like this, they want it to be like that. And I would prefer not to be like. For me, I'm always looking for something different in horror, which is
Same
why, yeah, which is like why I love going and watching Takashi Miike, then watching Romero, then watching Argento, then going over to Fulci, because it's like you're getting different flavors every time. But I think that's what it is too, and these movies are not movies that give you a lot of answers. So the audience is like, I don't know what's going on. It's not giving me any answers. Like, well, it's up to you. And I think a lot of people don't like that it's up to them. They're like, I want to be told the answers. I want to know what's going on here. I want there to be a witch killing people. I want to be a witch just doing all. I'm like, well, it's more complicated than that. So that's the best way I can explain it. I believe that's the answer that it could possibly be. That's what I believe, at least.
I think you make great points, and you're right. It's almost like the proverbial, like what you were saying about flavors. It's almost like everybody's just cool with having chocolate or vanilla. Like, all right, I'm cool with chocolate, vanilla, maybe strawberry every now and again. But then there are guys like us who are like, what about Rocky Road? Well, what about pistachio? Well, what about cookies and cream? What about all these other flavors that we can try? What, you want a little batshit craziness? Throw that chocolate and mix it with something. I just don't. I feel like people like that. And listen, there are some flavors of the genre I don't like. I don't like the torture porn movies. I don't like them at all. I'm not saying you have to like every flavor, but I just wish that people would expand on trying something just more than vanilla or chocolate. Like, it just seems like you're right. They watch the same shit, the other, over and over and over again. And it's just like, oh, this is all I watch. And then they see a movie like this or The Lighthouse especially and go, oh, well, it made no sense. And I'm just like, yeah, you can fill in the blanks with your own brain. Isn't that the fun of film? And you can interpret it your own way. It's just kind of, I like that personally, but there are some people that just, they want everything explained to them and wrapped up in a bow and written, signed, sealed, and delivered by the director/producer. And that's fine, but I feel like those people are really crippling themselves, man, when they could be enjoying so much more.
I totally agree, man. I will say this. I used to be like that because I used to be all mainstream. I used to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween, and Saw, and all those big movie franchises. That was all I really watched. And when I would talk with like people like you and Steve, and I got friends like Corey and John, other John, three other Johns I know.
You know a lot of Johns.
Yeah.
Well, rapping John is pretty funny.
Yeah, he's awesome. We made a whole rap about John and
the
Jets player.
Classic.
That's awesome, man. But like, I think what it was when I talked to you guys and you guys were like, hey, go and check out, a Cronenberg movie. I'm like, all right, I've only seen The Fly. Like, I don't want to see anything but The Fly. And then I kind of was like, all right, well, let's just go and give it a shot. So I watched Scanners. Love it. Let's go watch some David Lynch, some Eraserhead. Love it. And I was like, all right. And I got into this mood like a year or two ago where I wanted to just expand. I wanted to just kind of explore, I guess no pun intended.
Horror of horror.
I guess, yeah, no pun intended. I know the horrible plug-in right there, but I guess that's how you could put it, man. I just wanted to kind of expand my taste and expand my palate, and so I can kind of see where people are coming from with that. But yeah, I think that's another reason why I respect these kind of movies is because it'd be easy for them just to go, yeah, we're just gonna go and we're going to remake Blair Witch Project, and we're going to make it to where tents are flying up to the sky, and we want to show the witch. Let's do that. Let's do that. Like, that's like, they could easily do that. But it was like, no, let's make it a period piece. Let's take it to the past. Let's shoot it like slow and methodic. Let's not have jump scares. Let's not have all that stuff. Let's have it be psychological. And I'm like, it's the balls to do that, especially take that risk nowadays when that shit barely gets done anymore. It's just, I could praise movies more like that. Even the ones I wouldn't say match the hype. Like, I wouldn't say Hereditary is the best horror movie of the century, but I can appreciate it. It's like also the Babadook. I wouldn't say it's the best horror movie of the century, like other people have said, but I like how it's tried to be different. I can at least respect it in that regard.
So can I. I'm in that boat too. Like, even if I hate it, I can respect that it tried something new, and if it failed, it failed, and I'll tell you it failed. But I don't think it's bad. I can't bash those films like I'll bash a Fantasy Island or fucking Truth or Dare or that new Grudge reboot. Like,
Oh,
Like granted, I won't even lie. I haven't seen those movies, but I fucking guarantee you I would not like those movies. Like I could bet my house I wouldn't like fucking Truth or Dare. I'm pretty sure it would be shit.
me too.
It's just I don't know. I can't go into that stuff.
You just look at the trailers; they'll tell you everything. It's like The Forest. I was like, wait, The Forest trailers look like garbage. I'm gonna go give it a shot, give it a chance. And John, man, I'm telling you what, I've never that and Evil Dead. I've never had more fun in the theater. When people in the audience are laughing at your movie and saying this is stupid, this is goofy, these are normal audience goers. Like this is not me with a bunch of critics. This is me with normal audience, and I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
What is that? And they're like, what is that? I was like, oh.
That was January Horror, The Forest. I saw that one. Definitely not one I'd put it towards the bottom. I didn't hate it. It wasn't. It was like better than the Bye Bye Man. I'll say that. It's better than shit like that. Like I should one day just cover an episode of like all the January horror movies. Like that would be so fucking funny.
Oh man.
Is there any? Could you do a top 5?
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Good luck to that, man.
Good luck. Yeah, I would need luck, and I would probably need therapy.
You wouldn't need NyQuil for a month.
Nope. Wouldn't need no quill. I wouldn't have to drop any quill, bro.
Be like, oh, you want some sleep? All right. Oh, the gallows. Sorry, I put it in.
That became a fucking thing in my high school too, which is funny. Like people were like talking about dropping NyQuil. I was like, what? Like, why is that a thing? I'm gonna drop some quill, bro. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Fucking crazy.
Well, how would you rank the Witch? You know, as far as like camera work. I know we do like overalls too, but like as far as like camera work goes and direction and writing and stuff like that, how do you think that would rank?
Oh, I think top notch. I thought the directing was really good. I thought the writing was old school, but it was really authentic and genuine for that time period. I thought the actors did a really good job. I love some of the scenes where she's like down by the river and getting shit and the brother's talking to her and what if I was a witch? And I just like that stuff. And she's scaring the 2 little kids and you think at first like, oh, you know, she's just being that playful older sister. And then later on when you find out the ending, you're like, was she really being the play or was she just fucking with them there? Like, I like thinking about stuff like that. I think that's really well done. I think it's a great film. Willem Dafoe said he saw the Witch and said, I see a filmmaker here. And I kind of feel the same way. I walked out of that theater with that final image ingrained in my brain, and I thought it was really cool, man. So I would say, I don't know, like if you were asking for out of 10, but it's a really great flick. I really enjoy it. I out of 10 overall, I would probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I really like the film.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Back in the day, I was way generous in this movie. I was like 10 out of 10. Man, I'm just like, well, I would probably realistically give it about an 8.5, somewhere around there. I'd probably agree with you around 8. It's just, I would say I still love it, but I think what it is after I seen Lighthouse, I was like, man, like I really love Lighthouse a lot. But I still love The Witch. I think it's like you said, the period. I'm a huge sucker for Victorian era movies.
Me too.
They just interest me. I mean, I researched that time period. It's the perfect time period to make a horror film because if you really research the Victorian era, it's so interesting of how different life was back then to compare to now. And I just love it whenever movies are set in that time period, especially take advantage of that stuff. But yeah, I've already blabbered enough about it, but I've great direction, camera work, stuff like that. The music I thought was good. The image of the black goat I thought was a cool looking image, and how is it Satan? You don't know. Is it Lucifer? Like, you know,
Black Phillip.
Yeah, it's a creepy image, and I really
the
like.
Finale's great, and the crow pecking at the mother's titty. That's some scary ass shit.
Creeped me out. That was I think the scariest thing too that I thought was in the movie was nothing supernatural. It was you're seeing this family, religious family, being broken down piece by piece by piece, and they're losing their sanity.
Yeah.
To the point to where they're trying to kill each other. That's to me the most scary part of the movie.
Yeah, it's almost like family dysfunction, and it all starts with that baby going missing. So it really just that starts the snowball roll, and by the end, I mean, you've just got the biggest snowball, and I think that's why it really really works.
I might rewatch this movie tomorrow, man. I'm really in the mood.
Nate's like, man, I'm all this talking about it. I gotta put it over too. Funny story though. Said you gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm the same way. I gave The Lodge a 10 out of 10, and like now all these motherfuckers come. It fucking stinks, Grande. You overrated
Oh,
it, and I'm just
oh
like,
my
all right,
god.
yeah. When I put a movie
Damn.
over, people get pissed because I bury a lot of shit. I think like people just go, oh, you don't know shit, but I don't know. Is what it is. What
Like, but you didn't give us 10 out of 10. You didn't give Hereditary 10.
Yeah, but I almost want to say the same thing back to them. I'm like,
Like,
yo,
all
like
the
if you got off your lazy ass and saw, The Lodge and didn't fucking watch, Us 400 times, maybe the fuck you. I don't know. It's just crazy to
Jordan
me.
Peele, bro. Or
Yeah,
whatever the other
Jordan,
guy is. Who's the guy who made the Hereditary movies? He's a big director now, too.
Ari Aster.
Right. Yeah. Come on, man. Geniuses. Come on. I'm joking now. I think they're good directors and everything. I just think sometimes with movies like that, like when I seen Get Out, I can totally get it. But with Us, I like the movie, but I could see where where the flaws are kind of coming from. But a lot of people kind of got on my case and was like, "What? How dare you?" I'm like, "I didn't even say I hate this movie. I said it's a decent movie with some problems." They're like, "Well, you didn't give it a perfect rating." I'm like, "I don't want to give it a perfect rating, But I did give Get Out a perfect rating. I mean, I think Get Out is a perfect example of just with that kind of story and direction. I think Get Out really deserves all the praise it gets. And actually, speaking of Midsummer Fiend, I'll be watching that tomorrow. I'm gonna try to because I want to see some more newer stuff. So I want to watch that. So hopefully,
I'll make a
I heard
prediction. I will be shocked if that's not a horror boy rant. I think you'll hate that one.
Yeah.
I know you like Hereditary, but I think Midsummer will be a rant.
Yeah, I think it will too. Because even the Hereditary people are saying it's bad. So yeah.
Even they shit on it.
I'm like, that's pretty bad, bro. I just heard somewhere that it was a Wicker Man ripoff. That's all it is. It's a pretty much a loose remake of the Wicker Man.
What's funny is I actually like Midsummer better than Hereditary, but I just like the way it looks better, and like I think he learned some things along the way, but I think they're both pieces of shit. If it's any consolation,
the trailer didn't do anything for me. I seen the trailer back when it came out, and I was just like, nah, doesn't look that good. But I'll give it a watch one day. I think I'll also check out Mother, which I haven't seen yet either. So I'll give that a watch. I really
like that one.
Yeah, I'll give that one a watch. House that Jack built. I'll check that one out eventually. Hopefully, one day. But Searching with John Cho, of course. Check that out.
It never ends.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I guess I can wrap up our thoughts on The Witch. We both give it 8 out of 10, so pretty good rating. Really enjoy The Witch. To get into what I'm very excited to get into, us talking about the next film, and that is The Lighthouse from 2019. Came out around November of 2019. I remember when they had the Batman teaser come out with Robert Pattinson. I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this. And then I seen the trailer for The Lighthouse, and I was like, whoa. I was just instantly sucked into it. I wanted to see this movie. Everything from the style. You got a 2-man cast, which is like unheard of now. Just have 2 people in a cast. And you got 2 people in a lighthouse going crazy. And I was like, okay, I want to see this.
Same way.
Yeah, same right. Here. I was like, I love the way it looks. I've never seen a lighthouse horror film. At least I can't remember.
This is the same thing.
Dude, I was like, this is going to be fucking awesome. And, man, John, if you want to take it away, you definitely can if you want to, bro.
I love this movie. I think this is fucking great. This is definitely my favorite horror movie of last year. Thought it was absolutely fantastic. And it really is a movie where I think not only does just Robert Eggers come into his own as a filmmaker, but I think it's the movie where Robert Pattinson really proved himself to me as an actor, because I know a lot of people go, oh, it's the guy from fucking Twilight, fuck this. And I understand that mentality, because obviously I don't like the Twilight movies either. But I think he steals this movie. I really, truly do think he steals it. It's his performance that really just sucks you in. And I love Defoe, is a lot of fun, and it's bad luck to kill a seabird and all that stuff. And Wake and Winslow going back and forth at the dinner table, and you don't like me lobster and all this stuff, and this great dialogue between the two. It's a film that has a sense of humor to it, which is why I think it's easy to like. And then when it gets into the scares, when it gets into deeper meanings, I think the film is just so utterly fantastic, man. I love this movie. I love the way it's shot, the aspect ratio being closed in on them. I think that stuff is just absolutely fantastic. I love, love, love the way that's all shot. Oh, Nate's gone. I don't know if Nate. Oh boy. Okay. I think I'm still going. If anybody's watching still, to let me know if I'm still live here. I don't. We're on Nate's stream. How the fuck am I still live? Oh shit. Okay. You like me lobster? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I guess somebody's still watching. I'm not sure. The internet ate Nate. Dude, that rhymes. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, man, it's all these things in this film. It just works. I just think it's really a perfect encapsulation of a little bit of everything. There is a lot of humor in it. There is a lot of good horror in it. The performances are fantastic from the two leads. Just some of the scare sequences, like when the mermaid washes up upon the shore. And at first he's kind of turned on, and he gets closer and she starts making those noises. That scared the shit out of me in the cinema. And just some of the scenes where you see some of the inner links of the Lighthouse working. Oh, Nate's battery died. Okay. All right, I don't know if you're coming back. I hope so. It's got scripted farts. It does. That it has too. Someone mentioned in the comments. I love that stuff. And you goddamn farts. And I need to know what you're hiding up there. I just love the two of them. And also, I love how Pattinson's, accent goes from one accent to another. Like it starts off one way and then it becomes almost like a Boston accent. So it makes me as a viewer question what his identity truly is. And he says at one point, "Oh, I killed a man in my past life, and that was that guy, but this is me now." And I'll get into the ending a little bit, where I feel one way about that, others. Oh, the horror boy's back. Here he is.
Yeah, my battery died. Sorry about that.
Dude,
Forgot I didn't have it
no
plugged in.
goddamn worries. I don't want to eat up your spotlight here, man. Give me your thoughts.
I was listening on my phone, by the way. I definitely agree with pretty much everything you said, man. I mean, especially about Pattinson's character. Um, I just think, man, it blew me away with everything. It's like the filmmaking was very authentic because they didn't just put a filter over it. They actually went and shot this movie on a certain aspect ratio and on a certain camera.
Yeah.
And I can really respect that. It's again, Robert Eggers takes these steps that I appreciate, and I love that. I love the era, the late 1800s. Well, I think it was the early 1900s, right? Or like the late 1800s, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I really love that setting. Again, the black and white look brings a great just atmosphere to it, and there's just certain shots that I love, whether it's the shot of it's a really uncomfortable scene, but where Robert Pattinson is walking up the stairs and he's looking through these like little holes in the floor, and you hear William Dafoe making these noises, and you're like, is that a tentacle? It's seeing like an octopus. What is going on up there? You don't know, and it's an uncomfortable scene because you're trying to figure out what's going on. And I really liked how they showed how hard it is to, like, how hard of a job it was back in the day to be a lighthouse keeper, because I didn't know it was that hard. So that's another thing. Like,
Yeah.
Lighthouse, I was like, oh, all you gotta do is tap there and run this little light across this tower. Like, it's not that hard. I'm like, oh shit, I had to eat my words for this. I was like, damn, he's over here carrying just like oil tons all the way up the stairs day by day. And Pattinson, I thought in this movie, it's funny that funny story about Twilight. I remember back in '09 when New Moon came out. I seen the commercial for it, and I was like, "Hey, Twilight New Moon, let's go watch it." They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, it's got werewolves and vampires. Obviously, it's gonna be vampires versus werewolves. It's gonna be bloody. It's gonna be gory." As I was in the horror movie, so I was like, "Yeah, let's go watch it." They're like, "No, it's not like that." I'm like, "What do you mean? They can't make it lame." They made it lame.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, "This is a fucking chick flick," and I was just like,
That
"Man,
can't be lame. Oh.
And I was like, I get it now. Sparkles. But I thought Pattinson in this really made me go, I want to see him as Batman. Because
I said the same thing. Yes, 100% earned my respect. Man.
Right?
100%.
It was like totally instantly. I was like, all right. At first, when I heard he was being Batman, I was like, I seen this. I want to see him as Batman. Because this showed his acting flexibility. It showed his physical acting and how he can go from 1 to 100. And I think his range in this movie is just unbelievable. I'm surprised, and I'm literally surprised he didn't get at least an Oscar nomination for this, because he blows you away. Because you don't know much about his character. You're wondering, is he who he says he is? I mean, at this point, you're not even sure what his real name is. One minute he's saying he says one name, the other minute he's saying his name is Thomas. You don't know. And it's like, I love that. And it's like, the more the movie goes on, you start to wonder, is William Dafoe even real? Is he just a figment of his imagination? You don't know.
Yeah. It's so crazy. My friend Nick, who I had on my show last week, the Jeepers Creepers show, he thinks completely that Willem Dafoe was just a figment of his imagination. Like, that's fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it could be a possible, I think that's a decent interpretation. And we'll get into our interpretations at the end, because I do have a pretty interesting one. But you're right. It's Pattinson's uneasiness and his he doesn't know what his identity is, it feels like, through most of this film. And we don't know what to and what to not believe. That's why I think it really works. And it could easily be over the top, and it could easily be mishandled, but I think Pattinson just gives the performance of his career in this movie. And I agree with the Batman statement. I can't fucking wait to see him play Batman after this movie, because if that's the next Bruce Wayne, I think we could have done a lot worse.
Yeah, especially if you're considering some of the other choices that were going to play Bruce Wayne. I mean, I've heard many different things. I actually heard Leo DiCaprio is going to play Joker, which is pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know. Leo DiCaprio is amazing, so I would. It'd be weird, but I could definitely see something with Leo DiCaprio. I even heard at one point Jim Carrey, and it was like, interesting. Jim Carrey playing the Joker. Interesting.
I think we'd both like to see him come back as the Riddler.
Oh, dude, one can dream, man. One can dream. I love him as the Riddler so much.
Me too.
Your Anderson was good. His was better. Showmanship.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? Was that over the top? I can never tell.
I love that he just acknowledges it right there. He's like, I can never tell.
That's why I love that movie. Like, people are like, oh, this is so... I'm like, they're in on the joke. It's not...
They know how over the top it is.
And the Holy Rusted Metal Batman, and people just go, I don't like this. Christopher Nolan. I'm just like, all right.
We want realistic Chicago Gotham.
Yeah, like that. Those are the same motherfuckers that can't appreciate more than one different flavor of horror movies. Like, I just don't.
I agree.
Why not? Why can't we enjoy the Burton films, Nolan films, and the fucking Schumacher films? Exactly. They all have their different styles,
Exactly. I thought he was a better Riddler than really. I like Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, but I thought Tommy Lee Jones. It felt like with him, he's just playing another Joker character. Like with Riddler, it matched. With Two-Face, it was kind of weird, but I still loved that interpretation either. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I thought.
Why won't you just die?
I like when he's like, "You have to mess with me," and then he jumps to the side and he goes, "And me," because he's the dual personalities. I thought that was fun too, man. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed that stuff. But
you remember that one part where he was like, what did he say? Jim Carrey was like, his dreams are of walking on the beach and seeing girls under the sheets, and Tom Lee Jones is like,
yeah. having sex with a naked girl, and then Tommy's just like, woo. They were so fun together, which it blows my mind that they hate each other. Like I'm just always like,
Right. Their chemistry was through the roof.
it's so mind blowing. I've never heard Tommy Lee talk about it, but Carrie confirmed that Tommy Lee hated him.
It's like funny if they interviewed Tommy Lee Jones now, they'd be like, "No, I didn't hate him."
I feel like
no.
he'd admit it. I feel like he'd be like, "Oh, I hate that motherfucker." I would love to see the shoot interview on that. I feel like that would be good, clean comedy.
That's awesome, man. We need to do a Batman Forever stream sometime, man, for sure.
We did a stream on all the Batman films.
Yeah.
Just a Forever one, I'll do it. I would do a commentary.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Any day, man. Pick one. I love that movie. I watched it.
Commentary, bro. I love that movie.
Me too. But getting back into Lighthouse, what did you make of the ending? Because I thought you had a really cool interpretation, and I've heard so many good ones, but I really liked yours a lot, man. What was your interpretation? And if you want to walk people through the ending.
Yeah, absolutely. For those who have seen The Lighthouse, if you haven't, go watch it. If you have, then you shall stay. But it's pretty straightforward because I had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. It's just how it went down is what's interesting. But my theory, man, is that as you're going along the movie and you're hearing about Robert Pattinson pretty much just admitting to his sins, he's spilling his beans, as he says. Why'd you spill your beans? It's his confessions. And I think what it is instead of it being an actual lighthouse in an island and William Dafoe, I think it's more of maybe William Dafoe is this guilt, this constant reminder of his guilt. And he's constantly, if you notice, Dafoe is always breaking down this character. Every minute he's trying to test, and he even has it written down in the book, and Robert Pattinson's going through, he's saying, like, a thief, broke materials, didn't work, cut my pay, how dare you cut my pay? It's just that great scene. And you realize that William Dafoe, for me, it felt like William Dafoe maybe is this punishment, this guy who's constantly reminding him of what he did and punishing him for it, technically. And maybe the ending, because I didn't like, and even in my review, you'll see my review, I'll be like, I didn't really care for this, but maybe why he made William Dafoe bark like a dog and crawl to a grave, maybe that's him rising against his grief and trying to fight it. Maybe trying to bury his past, trying to bury that grief. Could be, could not be. But I think this was all just a hell. This was just a hell that he's in. This is his punishment for what he did in the past. And my friend made a good point about this. He said, this is going to be on loop, which means he'll forever be stuck in this loop, this hell, this punishment. And the ending is also very curious because he's dying and he's laying on the beach and there are seagulls pecking at him, but he's not dead yet. So I'm wondering if he doesn't die, he just keeps on living it over and over again. Maybe he just stuck there constantly just going through the motions. And I think with the lighthouse portion of it, like him going up to the top, I think what you said was pretty much how it went. That whatever he looked in there and saw terrified him. So maybe he saw the severity of what he did. Maybe he saw how it affected the people around him of when he killed that guy, supposedly. And maybe, like you said, he just looked in there and he's seen his true self. He's seen something in there that horrified him. And that shot is just creepy of him screaming. And it just seemed unnatural, like the way his mouth kind of unhinges and screams and the sound cuts in and out. I'm like, sitting there like, what the fuck? My heart was going. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what's it gonna show? And I like that it doesn't give you a solid answer. It's just like, you can take it either way you want to go. There's so many ways to go with it, but that's just my theory of it. He just stuck in his own hell, his private hell, pretty much.
That's a fantastic way to put it, and it makes me look forward to the review even more, even though we're getting sneak peeks of it right here and now, which was really cool, man. I got to agree first before I get into my interpretation. That is the one scene I don't like in the film either. I don't like that the scene with Dafoe is like a dog. Like I didn't like that either. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only scene I don't like in the film. Like, other than that, though, I think it's literally a perfect movie. But it is the scene that keeps it from getting the perfect rating for me. With that said, though, I do agree that the ending, you could take it in so many different ways, and that's why I really love it. And how we were saying before, how people kind of just they can't, if it's
Mm-hmm.
not told to them, they get mad or whatever. But when I walked out of the theater, my four friends, I saw this with my good friend Reep, his girlfriend Chloe, and my friend Alex. Alex hated it. Reep loved it, and Chloe
Mm-hmm.
loved it. I loved it. And Chloe had a really cool kind of, thing where she went into Greek mythology and that maybe Defoe was a creature. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't see that at all. But that's
Yeah.
what I thought was cool. Three people that liked the film all interpreted the ending in a different way. Where Reep said that he felt Defoe wasn't there at all the entire time. It was just Pattinson going crazy. That's the whole Siegel thing is part of a little bit of part of my theory. Whereas I said when that moment where Pattinson gets to the lighthouse and opens up, you know, the door to the lighthouse, what I think he sees is his true identity and his true self. Because the entire film, it feels like he's running from that. It feels like he's
Mm-hmm.
hiding from that, stiff arming that, and with different accents and feelings and tones. And he truly doesn't seem like he knows who exactly he is. And where he opens that door, he is faced finally with that this is who I really am. And I'm freaking scared about that. So he tumbles back, and then the final shot we see is him being pecked to death by these seagulls. That he did kill one earlier in the film, whereas Defoe said, if you kill it, it's bad luck and all this stuff. And I think almost a part of me too, when I first saw the film, I since feel a little bit differently, but when I first saw it, I thought that Pattinson looked like he had his eye pecked out. Now, if you notice, the bird he kills also had no eye, the one he ends up killing. So did he kill himself in a weird way? Whereas they say, oh, if a sailor dies, he comes back as a bird, and then if you kill the bird, bad luck will be bestowed upon you. Is it some kind of weird loop circle of life where he was that bird that he killed? I think that could be part of the whole concept too. Since then, I'm kind of on that. Like when I first saw it, I felt that way, but now I'm kind of with the seagull stuff. I think maybe it was referring to something that he killed somebody. But man, I just thought when I walked out of the theater, it was the same feeling I had as the witch. It was that image of Robert Pattinson climbing up to the lighthouse, an image that is embedded in my brain forever. And
Yeah,
that's
me
why I
too.
think Robert Eggers is great, man. He's made two horror films, both of them has stuck with me. And I think that says
Mm.
a lot because I don't think I'm the easiest guy to please. I won't lie. Like there are definitely some good horror movies that I just for whatever reason didn't get into. Hereditary is one of them. But man, I gotta say, I think you have quite a filmmaker in Robert Eggers, and I hope that he does carry the torch for the future of horror. I'm
Yeah.
all on deck with him. My eggs are in his basket, brother. I love me some Lighthouse. I give the film a 9 out of 10.
That was just absolutely beautiful, John.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. I really can't add much more to that, man, other than I agree with you 100%. Robert Eggers is amazing. I give it a 9 out of 10 as well. It's just a film that I love everything about. And like you said, the ending will always stay with me. I'm doing great, Chuck. How you doing, bro? We're talking about the Lighthouse right now. If you've
What's up,
seen it,
sir?
let us know. Yeah. This is John from Grande's Graveyard talking about the Lighthouse and the Witch. So definitely letting us know your guys' thoughts on the ending or on the films in the comments. We'll go with
100%. Would
that.
love to hear it.
But yeah, man. I just music. I think music too. The music was a big part of it. I love too how simplistic it was. Um, I just really enjoyed the film overall, and I can definitely see why it gets its praise. Again, these are movies that are either way you look at them, they're very pulverizing films. You're going to either love it or hate it, but you're never going to forget them. That's for sure. And yeah,
Yeah, that's why they work. That's why, and I hope more people can get into films like this. Like we were saying before, it's a shame that people in an age of the Blumhouse movies, seem to only stick to one gear or one flavor, like me and Nate were saying before. But man, I hope someday people can open up to movies like this. And I'm not saying they're all good because I don't like Hereditary or Midsummer, so it is what it is. But I think Nate and I'm glad that Nate likes Robert Eggers as much as I do, and I'm glad that we agree on these movies. And I hope these movies stand the test of time. I hope they become classics 20, 30 years from now that we tell our kids about and say, oh man, when I saw the Lighthouse, I was just enlightened.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. I didn't get that from it at all, but I'm not really into that stuff, so maybe that's why. I don't know if you're into that stuff.
I heard it was a theory. I mean, I could definitely see where they're coming from with that because there is a lot of symbolism behind the movie with that. But I've also heard also that just Robert Pattinson was the crazy guy, like he was psycho and he made all this up in his head. I was like, interesting. Or you could just go quite literal. These guys from the Highland going crazy and they're seeing stuff. It could go either way. That's the thing about this movie. Either way you take it, it works. Either way you take it, you can apply it to the movie and make sense. So that's the cool thing about it to me.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. I think a lot of people are looking for a concrete answer, and
Mm-hmm.
where I think the director probably does have one, like he probably has what he was trying to say, but who's necessarily to say that that's the most interesting thing or that that's the way I have to take it? Like
Right.
John Carpenter's The Thing, the ending. A lot of people sometimes go, "Oh, was Keith David, infected? Was McCready infected? Were one of them the Thing?" I always just kind of saw it as I don't care. I don't care to know. Let's just wait here and see what happens, and we get that classic score, and the film ends. I never had an interpretation on that. I just always was kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. This is a classic film. I don't care if one of them was infected or not. Either way, this is a classic film. So that's kind of the way I feel about it.
Fiend, and I totally agree with you, man. Like I feel the same thing about The Thing and certain other films. I think it works in certain instances. Sometimes it doesn't because if you have a build up and it just leads to nothing, then that's what really sucks. But I think with those movies, it builds up to something that I really appreciate. I can definitely agree with you on that for sure. Uh, I love mythology as well. Fiend, love mythology, and you could bring mythology into this movie. Certain stories, certain characters, you could connect them with other characters from mythology. I love mythology, man. Really into it.
Yeah, I think
Actually,
that's what Chloe was doing. Like when we got out, she was like, "Oh, Greek mythology," and I was just like, "What?" I was like, "I didn't get that at all." But again, like I said, like I'm not hating on that stuff. I just not. I
yeah,
guess the seeing it through the eyes that my four eyes, I saw it one way. But I think it's so cool that someone could see it in that light. Like
yeah,
I would love anthro Pomantic fiend. I'm sorry if I don't even know that word. Uh, if you want to explain to me the mythology ending, please do in full detail. I'd love to hear like exactly how because I was confused when Chloe was explaining it all because I was still trying to process the film myself. I've since gone back and rewatched it, so I have more of a absolute theme. But I don't know, man. I thought it's awesome.
yeah. I mean, you can really apply Greek mythology to a lot of stuff. I mean, the stories from Greek mythology, they're basically remade almost all the time in cinema. I mean, if you take a random story, let's say there could be elements of Batman that you could put mythology in and say this is a character that happened to, it sounds far fetched, but if you look at mythology, the stories they told, a lot of stories get um, draw influence from those
Oh
stories.
yeah,
So
poison
they feel,
ivy. Poison
yeah,
ivy is kind of like a modern day Medusa. Like you
exactly,
couldn't look at Medusa, you can't kiss poison ivy, or you die by the beauty of the woman. Like I
right.
know it probably wasn't, exactly intended that way, but you're right. It could take inspiration here or there. I totally agree with you, man.
And also like the stories of the underdog superhero going against the odds to defeat a god or a giant or the kraken. You
Yeah,
know,
David and Goliath has been told for how many years, like it's just one of those things. It's a story that's always retold, like, and it never gets old for that reason because we always cheer for David.
exactly. Um, I don't know if I got really any more things to touch on, man. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. We can wrap it up here if you want to. If you want to add any more else to it.
No, totally. Hey, I just wanted to say I had a great time. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me
man.
on. I had a blast with you as always. I didn't think this would go over 20 minutes and we almost went an hour and 20 minutes. So it goes to show you how good of chemistry and how much Nate and I get along.
Yeah, man. It's always awesome having you on the show, man. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun having you on, and thank you so much for being a part of the stream, bro.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to see your review.
Thanks, man. That'll be up soon. So service of the gods. Patton says Prometheus going against them, but getting punished. I can see that. I can see that. Definitely.
I'd have to read into that stuff more for sure, but I would like to just to because I think I've heard a lot that concept for sure. So I'd love to read into it more.
I love Greek way more than Norse. I love Norse, but Greek is just far more interesting to me than Norse mythology. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Devin, the Trenchy. We got Fiend in here. We got Chuck. We got JG was in here earlier. We had Junebug that was in here earlier. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to John Grande. I'll be editing this video later, so I'll be putting links to his channel in the description below. Guys, go check out his channel. He does amazing, amazing content. Really enjoy his stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for being on, John. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody in the chat, and we'll see you guys later. See you guys.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace. Everybody stay safe and happy Memorial Day.
Too sweet. Uh-oh. I don't think he ended the feed. I think we're still live. Oh no, Nate. You didn't have the stream, you silly bastard.